The title and the thumbnail for this video was clickbait, and Sonic Boom is a huge mistake. However, I will argue that because of that game, and the franchise that followed, all of the money that was lost during and after its process forced Sega to think about where the franchise was heading next. And because of that, we got Sonic Mania. So, you know, good came from the bad. Sega for so many years has been the target of many bad jokes involving failure. And because of that, the company had to adopt a meme-like approach just to get on the same size as those neck-bearded, man-baby people. So what if I told you that right now, right as I'm talking, Sega is in the best position they have ever been in their history? Sounds like bullshit, doesn't it? They aren't nearly making as much money as they did back in the heyday, and the past few years they've been pumping out not so many good stuff, not even stuff that's acceptable of that. So, why is modern Sega good? Ish. Not only am I going to answer that, but I'm going to tell you why it's important to even ask that question, and hopefully you'll see things from my perspective. And if not, then I don't know, go somewhere else, I'm not your dad. Sega in recent history has been on a very bumpy road, making hit and miss attempts at the fans and the market shares for a while, which by that point was, you know, quite normal behaviour for the company. But do you remember the job layoff thing that happened a couple of years ago? No, not the mobile layoff thing, the one before that. You know, the one that made Sega of America move their entire headquarters across America. I think that's where things start to go up. Now this is going to go on a string of tangents, but I promise it'll all make sense in the end, just have patience. During the time of the layoff, the company was getting a little too big and a little too many employees and not enough money to go around. Also, it was at this time that Sega didn't mind what it is they developed, as long as they made the company quota by the end of the year. But that quota began to look more and more like an impossible task. So, Sega looked towards the problem, and sure enough, the problem came from inside the company itself. And they were fired. Now then, can anyone remember what happened shortly after the layoffs? I'll tell you. There was a drought of games. During this drought, there didn't seem to be much activity. Only a few games were released, and then for the longest time there just seemed to be quiet, until something very interesting happened. Sega apologized for how they have treated their fans and the reputation of their properties. Now I don't know about you, but that shocked me. And this came from Sega of Japan. They never do stuff like this. And when this happened, I seriously had a gut feeling that things were going to be different from now on. 2016 rolled in and something incredible happened. Something that made myself, and I'm sure plenty of other Sega fans, scream out in joy. We couldn't believe it. All of a sudden Sega did a gigantic 180 on all of us, and the list of amazing stuff was just coming out the following year, and it was stuff that dreams were made out of. A new Daytona USA arcade game, Sonic Mania, Sonic Forces, a new ToeJam and Earl game, a remake of Wonder Boy 3 and a new Wonder Boy game to boot, Yakuza 0, a HD remake of the first game coming this summer, and there's also Yakuza 6 that's still waiting to be brought over. Then a collaborative effort between the teams of Puyo and Tetris, a port of the best Hatsune Miku rhythm arcade game came to consoles at home, a new Valkyria game, and fucking Shenmue 3. It's being released during the winter of 2017. It is an amazing time to be a Sega fan. They took all prejudices against the company and they slammed them. They ripped them into so many pieces and showed the world that they did care, that their apology wasn't in vain. And isn't it interesting that all of this happened just a year after the layoffs? See, it all comes around. Also, I know a few of those games I mentioned aren't actually being made by Sega, but if Sega didn't give them the A-OK to make these games, then we wouldn't be seeing them at all. Currently, Sega seems to be totally fine with handing out their properties to companies outside of their own company. And I'm totally fine with that too, as long as they get made. With this kind of startup, and as long as the company doesn't lose focus on this kind of behaviour, I reckon we could see a new Sega within the year or so, and maybe, if this keeps up, their reputation can be brought back. Maybe I'm being too optimistic. Maybe I'm wanting this so badly that I'm not looking at any of the possible danger zones that Sega could be travelling towards. And to tell you the truth, I do not care about that. If you're on a plane and you're thinking about what could go wrong and wishing for the pilot to fuck up, then all the damage goes to you. Support and clear communication is the only way forward here, and I feel as though I'm a good figurehead in that department. I hate hating things. I want to see this company flourish, and that won't happen if every Melvin is just bitching about it. Just grow up and help build a better future, goddammit. So anyway, before I wrap this up, I'll finish with what I started and explain why it is important to ask these kinds of questions. Because if you don't, then you'll become stagnant. Your way of thinking will become narrow and you won't be able to mingle and accept different ideas that may even be what it is you're after. I'm walking a minefield even trying to defend Sega at all here, but I'll tell you the truth right now, by uploading thoughts like these and opinions that are seen out of date and irrelevant, I've managed to see what kind of audience it is I've attracted, and to mingle with people who follow the same line of questioning that I do. The bottom line is, it's important to ask questions, expand your mind, and take in perspectives from other human beings. You owe it to yourself to become better. I know this was a short one, but I'm getting back in the groove. Some more in the future and they'll be much longer than this, I promise. If you have any retorts on my thoughts during this video, please put them in the comments. I'd love to hear what you think. And if you want to watch more of my stuff, just click the little box. And if you're interested in getting into modern Sega, might I suggest you play Yakuza 0. It's the best place to start off from. Plus, like I mentioned before, Yakuza 1's getting a remake this summer, so there's a sequel for you to grab. Anyway, that's all for now. Thank you for watching, see you next time.
These crazy earthlings stressing out, this crazy